All right. All right. We're recording. Hi, I'm Davey with Little Star, and we're talking to Caleb from Hey, I Love You today.
Hello.
Hi. Thanks so much for being here with us. I really, really love Internet Breath. Thank you so much for making it. I really wanted to start off by talking about you. What's your history? How'd you get into music? What are some of the bands that you love that inspired you?
Sweet. Okay, sweet. I guess like when I first got into music, I got in I was really into like video games and animation. Um Growing up, I would play a lot of video games. That's like all I did. I wouldn't go outside or make friends. I would just sit in my room and play video games all the time when I was a kid, and still do. But I remember when I was a kid, I would so if I really liked like the a video a music to like a level, I would always like load up the level in a video game and then just put the controller down and just like listen to the music. Um, and so I just listened to a bunch of like video game soundtracks, and then I was super into like cartoons and stuff too. And I discovered Gorillas. Um, because Gorillas had that thing going on where they had like the cartoon side of the whole band, and I was like, whoa, music that isn't from a video game can be cool too. Um, and so I got into Gorillas, and then I remember I went on Pandora and I just looked up like Gorillas radio station. I listened to that, and I got into bands like MGMT and They Might Be Giants. And I remember the huge one was Radiohead, because I was always interested in bleeps and bloops because of video game music, and I heard the guitarist from Radiohead making those kinds of sounds with his guitar, and I was like, "You could do that? What?" And so I wanted to buy a guitar, um, and then I discovered more like underground acts, like I discovered, I guess, indie staples like Joy Division and bands like that, and then I kind of got deeper and I discovered like American football and like Algernon Cadwallader or Cad, I don't know how to pronounce that stupid name, but
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, more emo bands. And as it kind of progressed, I kind of got into more like underground emo stuff and just discovering a lot of different kind of like emo adjacent genres that I really liked. And so I quickly became hooked on like emo bands and stuff. Yeah, and then I guess recently, ever since quarantine started, and I guess a little bit before too, was I just found a lot of bands who are kind of doing the emo thing, but also making really interesting stuff with it. So yeah, I guess that's how I kind of got into like my passion for music. Um, yeah, and then I've been in I guess my first ever real band was a band called Greyjoy, which I'm still in. And that everyone should listen to if they get this chance. And I joined that like almost like 5 or 6 years ago at this point. So I've been into like the creation and performance of music for ever since then.
Very cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I This record really feels like a reckoning with identity on the internet and sort of how the internet has infiltrated our lives, really. And I assume you wrote all these songs during the pandemic, um,
Yep.
and at a time of heightened, like, I guess, internet use for everybody. That's where we were all hanging out. And so, what was the kind of context in which you started writing these songs? Um,
I'm
when do you think you
actually
started?
I'm actually very impressed that you got that from the songs, because I didn't. Well, like I said, I don't have like the lyrics like anywhere. Um, I don't know why I said like I said. I didn't say that, but I'm actually really glad. I hope that you didn't read that anywhere, because if you got that from just music alone, that makes me very happy, because I don't have like the lyrics out there anywhere. And that is like the point of the record, is just to be like talk about like things that you know adjusting to life online basically. Um, and yeah, just like I don't know, I was really frustrated and I was really having a tough time because I've always like really been into the internet, like I was exposed to the internet at an age that was way too young, and I've just been like super obsessed with it ever since. But I've always had kind of like a distinct difference between, this is my outside life, this is what my life on the internet is. But since those have become mixed, it's kind of just been really hard just to adjust to it all. And that's kind of like what most of the songs on Internet Breath are. It's just about like, you know, trying to adjust to life in an era where it's just mostly internet. And Digital Lung, the first song on the EP, is just like about how my addiction to social media has just gotten so bad recently. I wake up and I wake up and the first thing I do is text my partner and go on Twitter, and I'm just scrolling Twitter for like the first hour of the day. Horrible, horrible habit to have. Never start your day off by scrolling social media. But yeah.
Yeah, it's something that has really taken over our lives, and I thought this record was such a really human and sincere attempt to grapple with that. Like,
Thank
I don't
you.
know, it just, the lyrics are great, and the sound of like the digital mixed with the guitar bass, and also the way you recorded it. I did read that you had just recorded it with a guitar bass and an iPhone, and that's such a cool way to also represent, like, you used the thing that you access social media with to
Yeah.
record as well, like form and function kind of all meshing together. Very cool.
Thank you. I really, really appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. um do you have a favorite song from this record?
I think it kind of changes. Like it kind of changes. But I think my favorite is probably Don't Talk About It. Just because that's the one that everyone really likes. And that was like the one when I was writing it, I was like, this one's gonna be big. Like everyone's gonna listen to this and be like, holy fuck. Can I swear? Is that okay?
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay,
Yeah.
sweet, sweet. I don't know. I never know what I can swear on and what I can't swear on, but yeah, so
Absolutely.
that's probably my favorite, I think.
Very cool. I think every time I listen to it, I've listened to it a lot over the past week, just writing about it, and I feel like every time I listen to it, I go in thinking this is like, I know what my favorite song is, and then by the end of the listen, I'm like, I think it's changed. Like, it was Digital Long, and then it was Don't Talk About It, and now I think it's Projection. Like,
Really?
all of these songs are so great. That
Thank you. I really
yeah,
appreciate that.
yeah.
I'm
Um,
surprised that your favorite now is Projection, because I did like that was kind of just like a song that was kind of put on the EP because I could. I wasn't really super passionate about that one initially because I was starting an indie band with some friends on Twitter, and we were just like file sharing. And I remember it was like 4 a.m. and I sent them this guitar track that I did, and I was like, we should do something with this. And no one said anything. And I was like, okay, whatever. I'm just gonna use this for whatever then. And so I made the rest of it around that guitar track, and I was like, whatever. This EP could use an extra song. Why not throw it in? So that was kind of just like a whatever kind of song. So I'm glad that you like it.
yeah, yeah. I think it. Um, there's hooks pouring out of every corner of this record. Like, I think that's something that you've done really well. Was that, or like stylistically, was that something you wanted it to be, like that pop oriented, just to get everyone hooked
Yeah,
immediately?
totally.
Yeah.
I am the kind of guy who that was a really great voice crack that I just had. But I'm the kind of guy who like can't really listen to a song if I can't hook onto something. If something doesn't catch my ear, I don't really like it. That's why I like a lot of like I don't like a lot of jam bands like Grateful Dead, just because like there's not like I can't there's not like something that I could really like, even if it's like a verse or like even like a synth part that happens once in the song. If it's catchy, then I will always come back to it. And that's what a lot of my favorite music is. It's just like really catchy stuff. And so I really want to just I want there to be I want there to be like hooks galore, even if it's like something that I only sing once. I want it to get stuck in the people's brain like a parasite.
Yeah, absolutely. With like recording it on an iPhone, were there challenges in like the mixing or the production? Like, what was that process like?
I think it's easier than I think people would assume, for me at least, just because I've been doing it for like a long time, and it was really bad when I first started. I was really, really bad, and it was very hard to make something sound, you know, coherent. I guess
Yeah.
it never sounds like good, but it was hard to get it sounding coherent. Um, but as I've grown as a musician and with the software, it's kind of a lot easier to make something sound like I want it to, I guess, because a lot of genres I really like kind of have that like really lo-fi, like not very coherent sound to it. And then a lot of genres I do like are very hi-fi. But I want this to be like, kind of lo-fi. You can tell that it was recorded with, limitations. But I also want it to come across like clearly. And I think that like I found a system and like a sort of way of doing it now, so that it's kind of easier for me to get what I want across. And I never really ran into issues um that really stumped me, because I think when I ran into issues, I just kind of made it part of like the music. Like I remember, I guess uh this is gonna be a story, so I hope stories are cool, but
Excellent. Yeah, love them.
sweet. So most of this was recorded when I was living with my partner, because we were staying at their grandpa's house while he was gone for a month. For a month. And so we were just like, cool, we'll just like hang out here and I was like, shit, I have none of my recording equipment here. I have none of my guitars or basses or anything. But my partner had brought their acoustic guitar, and this is when I was recording Don't Talk About It. And most of that song is just digital anyways, but there's that part where it switches into the punk song. And I was like, I want to record this, but I don't want to wait until I can have my access to my guitars. And so I just took their acoustic guitar and I put my mic I shoved my headphone mic as far as I could into like the hole of the acoustic guitar, and I just played really loudly, and that's how I got like this super distorted like punk tone. That's acoustic guitars. This is completely acoustic.
Whoa.
Yeah. So I guess stuff like that, it's just like I deal with it and I make it part of the sound, I guess.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I love hearing stuff like that about records and like the way they were recorded.
Sweet.
Yeah, and it's also like interesting that you mentioned limitations, because I think that's part of that often like breeds sort of the best art, is when you have one thing that you're using and that's it, and you've got to make it work.
I agree. You see all these bands who get like really huge budgets and they like record everything like a breeze, and it's like, it's like bleh. This would have sounded cooler if you guys, I don't know. But I think that like, limitations add character that you can always tell isn't there if it's not there.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see what else I've got here. Sort of around the time when you recorded Internet Breath, was there stuff that you were listening to that really influenced the sound, or was it more just?
Yeah, I think, well, I don't know, because I think the idea that I had when going into this record was trying to build off of the first record. But I mean, definitely, a huge influence always is Anamanaguchi. I don't know if you've heard of them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, huge influence always. And then Car Seat Headrest too. I was listening to a lot of Car Seat Headrest, a lot of Jeff Rosenstock, also Weather Day, Asian Glow, who else? I think that's mostly. Oh, and Home Is Where, because they came out with I Became Birds around the time when I was writing and recording Internet Breath. I think I might be getting my timeline mixed up, but yeah. So those were, I think, the bigger influences. And Los Campesinos, always Los Campesinos.
Cool, very cool.
Yeah.
What's it like in Billings? What's it like in Montana? I've never been there.
It kind of sucks ass, I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
I mean, Billings has a lot of like Billings. Do you mean like the scene or just like in general?
Yeah, whatever yeah, the scene, the town in general. What's it like living there?
It's okay. I mean, there's a lot of Billings is, I think, mostly like a traditional area. You don't see a lot of people like me walking around, who have like dyed hair, who have septum rings and pierced ears and all this different things. You know, and I mean, and there certainly is like a scene, where you see people like that. But also like the bands who are successful in the scene are just kind of like arena metal bands, like super like you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
it, yeah, which is like cool, but it's not really anything that I've kind of like really related to in my musical journey. Um, but there is kind of a really cool like underground kind of Billings music scene where it's like, you know, all these artsy fartsy weirdo bands, you know, getting crazy and stuff, which is super cool. But I've also like never really like I've played in bands that have done pretty okay here in the Billings music scene. But I've always just wanted to be part of the, you know, like a scene that kind of relate that I can relate to more, I guess. Um, yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Cool.
I guess to sum it all up in a way that makes sense, it's cool. It's cool. It's pretty all right.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Well, and it like now there's not really a reason to be tied to your local scene because
No.
you have the internet. And um I've seen some things surrounding internet breath being called, you know, and the whole fifth wave emo conversation and all of that. It's it's kind of silly because I think what you're doing is very much your own thing. Um
Thank
and
you.
I don't see, I mean, I guess things just get lumped in ways and people like to categorize it, but I don't know. What is that like for you, sort of the response to internet breath, and how's that
It's
been?
it's absolutely fucking insane. Like it's crazy. Like I mean, when I was crafting the songs, I was like, people are gonna dig this. Like, you know, people are gonna like this. But I didn't expect Ian Cohen from Pitchfork, and I didn't expect him to tweet about it. I didn't expect Stereo Gum to talk about it. I didn't expect all these people to like it. You know, I had Los Campesinos, who have been like one of my favorite bands ever since I was in like sophomore year of high school. They tweeted about it, and that was absolutely surreal. So it's crazy, it's insane, and it's really nice. But it's also like kind of like I've been having this kind of like anxiety recently, where I'm just like, dude, what if like the success that I'm having like goes to my head and I just become like a major asshole, which hopefully doesn't happen. Um, but yeah, I mean, other than that, it's been really awesome, and I'm really glad that I can like, you know, I've been hearing some people like tweet at me and they're like, listen to this thing that I wrote. I think it's really inspired by you, and I'm just like, what? People make music that because they heard something that I made. That's in well, not because, but you know, something that I made helped inspire something that they make. That's crazy. That's insanity. That's so cool to me.
Yeah. Well, and I think like just the, you know, you making a record that has gotten kind of big and has gone around the internet on an iPhone is just really inspiring to me too. Like, and just
That
you,
was the craziest part is that this is something I just made on my phone in 2 weeks. You know, like it's
right.
super crazy. I don't know. It's insane.
Yeah. Well, I think it speaks to you as a writer. I mean, like I just think the songs that you wrote were so good, and feels like you released it at exactly the right time.
Oh,
Like
totally.
yeah, like where things are opening back up, but people are still very much like on the internet, and we've had this long, exhausting year
Yeah.
of doing that. So um yeah. Is there anything else you want to like talk about the record? Any stories from recording or writing or
No, I think the lamest part about recording in your bedroom is that like you don't have any cool stories. You're like, I it was 3 a.m. I ate a sandwich and I recorded this song, you know? Um,
yeah.
I guess not really, not a whole lot. Um, it was really cool because it was recorded, you know, like I said, my partner and I were living together. So I think that's another thing about it that's super cool is that like it's kind of like a time capsule of like living with my partner, which is something I've never experienced. And even though we only got to live together for a month, it was super cool being like independent for a month. Like I didn't, you know, I went back to living at my parents' house, but it was cool, you know, just being on my own and, you know, getting to see them every day was super awesome. And all we did was like play video games and listen to music. And I recorded this EP at that time. And it was, I think it's just a super cool, like being able to listen to like, oh, I recorded this on this day. I recorded this on this day. So that's super sick. That's super dope.
Yeah, music is all about connection, and so it was cool that you were able to have those moments.
Totally.
um yeah, sweet. Well, I'm working on writing about this, and I'm really, really excited. I it's been one where I've taken my time, you know, and I've like been thinking through it because it feels like there's so much here to write about.
I really
Um,
appreciate that. Thank you so
yeah.
much.
Oh, absolutely. Any what's next for you? I mean, what comes after this, I guess? Are you planning on touring or I don't know.
So we don't have a plan yet, but I recently just got together a band. And it's me on guitar and vocals, my friend Sky on key on synth, my friend Connor on drums, my friend Trevin on guitar, and my friend Steven on bass. Um, and so we're gonna come together. We're gonna start learning these songs enough to play them live in front of people, which I'm really excited for. And hopefully we're gonna go on tour. I would really like to go on tour and meet all my homies that I've met online. Um, and then either we're gonna do that or we're probably gonna do this at the same time. But I've started writing and recording early versions of a full length.
Very cool.
And I want this to become like a collaborative thing now. So everyone's gonna write, their own parts and stuff, and it's gonna be really, really awesome. And I'm really excited. I don't want to, I don't want to spoil anything or like, I definitely don't want to come up with new music too quickly because I want people just to like, get what they can out of Internet Breath, and just ride that out and then, drop, this full length. But I'm really excited because it's going to be recorded completely differently and it's still going to be self-recorded, but we have like stuff now that we're going to use. So I'm really excited. It's going to be a new experience and hopefully it's going to shine through in the music. So I'm really excited.
Very cool. Yeah, it's exciting to hear that, there's going to be a full band and putting all of that stuff together. It's always a fun time, like when you've sort of created something by yourself, then taking it and translating it with other people. And
yeah, we're having a lot of fun with that.
Oh, I bet. Well, and the songs are like so upbeat and so fun. I imagine that it's like just really fun for everyone to play.
Yeah, everyone has a really good time. I'm shocked because Connor is a really, really great drummer. But when I was writing some of the drum parts, because they're programmed, they're not real drums, I was like, some parts I'm just like there's that one part in Digital Lung where the guitar's like ba 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 and the drums like and I was like, there's no way anyone's gonna be able to play this live. It's like impossible. And then he was like, yeah, so I think that part sounds like this, and he played it perfectly, and I was like, holy shit. So I'm just really excited. These four people are the most insanely talented people that I've ever met. So I'm really excited to have them on my team, and I'm just so stoked for the future.
Very cool. Well, I think that's about wraps up what I had. Thanks so much for talking, and really thanks again for making Internet Breath and for putting it out there and putting yourself out there. And hopefully we'll hear more soon.
Yeah, hell yeah. All right, awesome. You have a great day, Davey.
Yeah, you too.
Or I guess great night where you are. Bye.
Yeah, it is a great night. Bye. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.